Hey guys, so recently I was asked the question, how do you get a retro look to your photos? Well, if you've ever looked at a retro photo, it's kind of got those orange, hazy tones to it, and it's kind of dulled out in the color. So what you're going to want to do is first you're going to want to go and open up your Bridge. Once you've opened up Bridge, you want to find the photo that you're going to use. I prefer to keep mine on my desktop. It's a lot easier to get to and it's a lot easier to just click on. Once you click on the photo, it's going to open it up in Photoshop. For me, it opens up in Camera Raw. For this photo, what I'm going to want to do is I'm going to want to bring down the exposure. I like to keep it around 0.45. Then, what we're going to want to do is we're going to want to bring up our contrast. Once you've brought up your contrast, you'll see that all the photos have kind of popped a little bit. And last but not least, you want to bring up your clarity. What the clarity is going to do is just going to give it a little bit more of a depth of field. Now that your photo is open in Photoshop, you may notice that the colors pop a lot more than there should be for a retro photo. So what you're going to want to do first is you're going to want to unlock your layer. You can do this by double clicking it and pressing OK. And then pulling it down, you're going to want to duplicate it. Now that we have two layers, you're going to want to go to Filter, Noise, and Add Noise. I like to keep my noise around 25% to about 60%. You're going to want to keep it a Gaussian and a monochromatic. Press OK. So if you look at this photo, the photo doesn't look too great. It's very sharp, very noisy, just doesn't look good together. So what we're going to want to do is we're going to go over to the normal and then set that to screen. And we're going to pull down the opacity to around 15-ish, 12-ish%. So now you can see you still have that noise in there, but it's not as noticeable, and it kind of gives it a little bit of a duller tone to the photo. Now, our next step is we're going to want to create another layer. To do this, you can just press this little button over here, and then we're going to want to go to our gradient tool. Once you're in your gradient tool, you're going to want to kick a bluish color. So you can actually click this little box right here. Once you click it, you'll see that you can change your blues. I prefer to use this number. And you're going to want it to fade to a white. So once you've got it to fading to a white, you're going to want to drag it up. I like to get about right in the middle of the photo. So as you see, it's white and blue. Now, you're going to want to set this to screen and pull down the opacity to about 15%. So, once you've done that, you'll notice that all the colors are starting to get more of that dullish color, but also you're going to get that little bit more of that blue, sharper image on the right hand or on the left hand side. So, once you've noticed that, we're going to make one more layer. By doing this, we're going to go to Place, and we're going to place a film texture on it. You can find these on the internet. They're really easy to find. Just search them in Google. I prefer Winter Dawn. It's more of that reddish tone to it. So what we're going to do is we're going to put it over our photo. I'm going to pull it to the actual size of the photo and double click it. Now you can see that it's kind of got that dirty look of a film to it, and it's still got those reddish tones. So now we're going to want to rasterize it, so you can right click and rasterize later. Then we're going to go to Image, Adjust, and Hue and Saturation. I like to put it about -145. What this will do is it'll give you a bluer tone. So then we're going to go up to our Images, Adjustment, and our Curves. And we're going to pull down the darkens, and we're going to pull up the highlights. So this is going to make it a little bit darker blacks, a little bit whiter whites. Now we're going to set this to soft light. Once you set it to soft light, you're going to bring down to the opacity again. We're going to want to bring it to around 25%. Once you're done with this, you're going to click all the layers and merge layers. So now you can see it's kind of got that duller looking tone to it. It's kind of got those nice blues to it. But we're not done yet. So now we're going to go to Image, Adjustment, and then Levels. You're going to want to bring down your midtones, bring up your highlights a little bit, and then bring down the darker colors. So now you can see that the image is popping a little bit more. Now that the image is popping, you can see that we're still not more at that kind of dull looking color. So we're going to go to Adjustments, and then we're going to go to Exposures. As you can see in Exposures, you have 3 settings. You can use your exposure, your offset, and your gamma correction. What we're going to do is we're going to use the offset, and we're going to pull it up a little bit. So you can see it's starting to take the color out of the photo. Then we're going to bring up the gamma corrections. And it's going to start to darken the photo a little bit more, but still leaving out some of that color. Then you're going to want to mess with it until you get about a nice kind of even tone on it. Once you've got the tone you like, what we're going to do is we're actually going to go to your image again. So as you can see, it's still kind of dull, but what we're going to do is we're going to go up to Image, Adjustments, and then your curves. You're going to darken it, and then bring out the highlights a little bit more. So now that you can see it's still got that really nice dull look, the deeper blacks, but it's still got those really bright whites. Last but not least, we're going to go to Image, Adjustment, and Color Balance. We're going to bring up the reds, and we're going to bring up the yellows. Once you've done that, you're basically done. You have that nice tone, that nice dull colors, but then you have those nice beautiful reds and oranges in them. So, I hope you enjoyed the tutorial.